Welcome back to Art Club. We've got another day of creepy crawlies coming your way. Today we're going to be making something sort of like this, but you get to choose which bug, which style of leaf, all of those fine-tuned details, you get to choose yourself. So as you can see, our bug, once we're done, will be able to creep and crawl on up that leaf. So let's get started. First and foremost, we need to pick what color leaf you would like. Now I had a green leaf there, but we have all seen leaves so many other colors, right? So maybe for this one today, I'm going to be doing an orange leaf, like you might see in the fall time, right? So we're going to need to pick whatever color paper we would like for our leaf. We're also going to need black paper for cutting the circle out of. You'll also need any color paper that you want your bug to be, which is going to vary based on the kind of bug that you pick. So I'm going to be doing a ladybug though, so I've chosen red. And you'll notice I'm using some scrap paper. You don't always have to use a brand new sheet, especially for some of these smaller things. So if you've got some scrap paper left over from another project, feel free to use that too. I'm going to need scissors, glue, I'm going to need a pencil and my yarn. If you have a hole puncher, that's going to come in handy. So go ahead and grab that. And then of course optional are things like googly eyes and maybe some markers to color with or crayons. Anything you would like at the end to decorate your project with will also potentially come into play. Alright, I am going to set most of this aside, and for right now I'm just focusing on making that leaf, so I'm going to need my paper, pencil, and scissors for that. I'm going to take the color paper that I would like to use for my leaf, and I'm going to fold that in half, hamburger style, just like this. Give that a good crease. And I'm actually only going to need half of this sheet of paper, so we are going to cut it right down that center, just like this. There we go. And I can set this off to the side for another project. Alright, now you'll want to use your pencil for this, but because a pencil is a little hard to see on the camera, I'm going to switch up my pencil for a Sharpie marker here. And I am going to go ahead and draw the outline of a leaf. Now you guys can choose any kind of leaf that you would like. It does not have to look like the leaf I am doing here. Totally up to you how you want it to look. Alright, I'm going to come down around this way too. There, maybe my leaf looks like that. Now I have a whole bunch of ridges in here, but I'm not going to cut them all out. You can, but I'm going to simplify it because it's going to make cutting this a lot easier. So as I cut it, I'm just going to kind of go around all of those little indentations into my leaf. Maybe once I get up here, I'll start following the line a little bit more. Like so. There we go. Set that off to the side, get that out of the way. And we'll continue on to the second half of our leaf here. And once again, once I get to this part, I'm just going to kind of follow the basic outline of it. I don't need to worry too much about getting on in there. Once again, if you want to go back then and cut out all those little sections, you totally can, but you'll notice that I haven't been, and I think it actually looks kind of cute and charming that way. Alright, next step. If you would like to, you can go ahead and add any sort of details to your leaf. Maybe use a dark marker, maybe you'll use a different color marker. I'm going to try this. I've actually not tried this on this color before. Let's see how that looks. Making some kind of veins down my leaf here. Once again, this part is totally optional. You wouldn't have to do that, but definitely feel free to if you like it. All right. If you need to pause at any point or rewind, feel free to do so, but we're going to continue on. I'm going to get out my hole puncher. Now, when I'm punching the hole at the bottom and the top of my leaf, I don't want it to be too close to the end, because if it is, it might rip. So I want to make sure that I'm kind of getting it as far into the paper as I can. So not here, but more like there. And we'll go ahead and give that a punch. And we want to do the same thing on the top end. Once again, not at the edge, but as far in as we can get it, and punch. Just like that. Okay? Now if you don't have a hole puncher that you can find, you might want to get a mentor for this, but you can use scissors. And usually what I do is I just take one end of it and kind of punch through like that. Careful not to punch my fingers on the back side, and same up here. Okay, so once again, totally doable with just scissors, but if you feel uncomfortable, maybe getting an at-home mentor to help with that. All right, and they might want to help with this next part too, depending on how comfortable you are with tying knots. So we're going to get out our yarn next, and I am going to thread my yarn through one of the holes. Actually, I'm going to start on the back side. Sorry, I just remembered something. So I'm going to start on the back side and thread it through to the front. Okay, I'm going to bring it through the front and thread it through this hole, bringing it to the back again. We want our knot to be on the back. So that's why I wanted to start from the back side. Okay, and I'm going to cut it. You'll notice that my yarn technically could go all the way to the next hole. I want to have a little bit of slack, a little extra yarn. We wouldn't want it so that they're like, you know, just barely touching. We need to have some extra here. So we're going to go ahead and tie this into a triple knot just to make sure it really stays well. So to make that knot, I start off by creating an X. Okay, and then I sort of create another X for this first one. So you'll almost notice like it's X here and an X there, right? With this, the string is going to want to go under on one side and over on the other. So you'll notice that the string goes under here, but then it goes over on this one. So that's going to be an important thing to note as we're making our two X's. Okay, now I'm going to take the one that's underneath, this one here, and I'm going to bring it up and through the middle and pull. So it's going to go something like this. I'm going to bring it up and through the middle, and I'm going to grab it from the back side and pull. Okay, so now I've got that single knot going, and we need to do a double. So same sort of thing. This is a little easier now though. I'm going to cross it over. I'm going to grab the one that's underneath, bring it through that loop again, and pull. You'll notice as you're doing it, it kind of looks like a pretzel, or like if you're crossing your arms, right? That's sort of what it looks like at the beginning. I want to start making sure that this is tight. Good. I'm going to do one more knot here. So making my X, finding the one that's underneath, bring it up and over and through that hole. There's that pretzel shape again. And pull really nice and tight, making sure that that knot isn't going to go anywhere. And we don't need this extra now that we've tied our knot. We don't need that. So we're just going to go ahead and give it a little trim right there. Okay, so now we've got something that looks like this. We're ready to add our bug. So what I did was I took a piece of black paper. It doesn't matter if it's a scrap piece of paper or if it's a new one. You're going to go ahead and fold it in half. So the reason why we fold it in half is we're going to actually need a total of 2 black circles that are the same size. So when we fold it in half, now when we cut out that circle, it's actually going to be, we only have to cut once, but we get 2 circles out of it. Nice little art trick there, huh? So I'm going to go ahead. Now these circles, we want them to be bigger than a quarter, I would say. So if you happen to have like maybe the top to a milk jug or anything that's round and kind of like about the size of a quarter or even bigger, it tends to work really well for this if you want to outline it. Otherwise, you'll notice that I'm just cutting it, right? I didn't even draw it on there first. Just cut it out. You can do that too. And check this out. Magic. What? We've got 2 circles the same size from only cutting once. Nice little trick, huh? All right, so we want to get these 2 circles to sandwich this string like that. But we first need to add some glue because we're going to want it to stay. So I'm going to take one of my 2 circles, get out my glue, and we're going to add a lot of glue to this, okay? There we go. I don't know if you can tell on the video here, but there's lots and lots of glue there. I'm going to put this one underneath, trying to get that yarn kind of down the center. And now we're sandwiching it with the other one and press down so that those 2 hug each other and hold tight. Excellent. Now you can see we've got the mechanics all done and ready. I can take the back side and hold it, and my bug, well, right now it's a black dot, but what will be the bug can creep up and down my little leaf. So now the rest of it is up to you and your creativity. What is this going to be? An ant? A spider? Maybe a caterpillar? You do a whole bunch of circles and it's like the Hungry Caterpillar. I'm going to do a ladybug though. So you can choose to do a ladybug or get fun and creative with this. So to make the ladybug, I'm going to cut another circle about the same size as my black circles there. Doesn't have to be exact. These are going to be the wings of my ladybug. So cutting out a red circle here. You could even have your ladybug be a different color too. Get crazy and creative and fun, right? All right, now that I've got that red circle, I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue up at each edge here. That's how I'm going to attach my wings. So that they're like this. They kind of come to a point towards the top there. And that looks good. Maybe I want to add a little head to the top of my ladybug too. So I can go ahead, I'm just taking some black paper, cutting a little U shape for the head of my ladybug. Something that looks like that. A little piece off there. I could even add the head before I do the wings too if I want it to be kind of tucked underneath. Either way works. Add that on. And then of course, ladybug is not a ladybug without those beautiful spotted wings, right? So you can color that in too. Once again, you might be doing an entirely different insect. Whatever you choose to do, have fun with it, creating it and making it look the way you want. Color that in, get some cute little dots on this side too. There we go. And maybe another one over here. Excellent. Well, we definitely have a ladybug on a leaf, don't we? You can already tell that's what it is. I could add googly eyes to it, maybe some antenna, maybe some legs sticking out. From here, go ahead and use your creativity to have fun, and then don't forget, once you're done, I'm gonna want to see this, as is everyone else. So come back on into our slides down at the bottom where it says Hall of Frame, and we're going to go ahead and click on that. We're going to scroll on down here until we find one that's open, and we can claim our frame by putting in our name typing it down below, and then coming up to insert image and camera, and holding your artwork up to your Chromebook camera. You can even get in on it too if you'd like to. That works. And it'll automatically capture your image and put it into the frame. Just takes a few seconds. Great way to share with each other. Thank you so much for joining in yet again. I can't wait to create more wonderful things with you next time. See ya.